All right, we're streaming. I think. All right, let's go.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Dropping the mask we wear day to day, building real trust in a brand new way. For a deeper connection, let's explore on transparent conversations. Transparent conversations, where every word can open doors. Transparent conversations.
Hello, and welcome back to Transparent Conversation, Elevated Exchanges. I am your host, Calvin, or CPJR, or CPJR 300, if you know me. Welcome back to Transparent Conversations, just a little show that I do on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Today is Sunday. I skipped the Friday show because I needed a break. And so I'm happy to be here on Sunday night. I probably won't be here Monday night, but because of the election, I think I'm going to just wait until Wednesday, till after the elections in Maryland, and then I'll be back on Wednesday night, like I said. So welcome to my little space on the on YouTube, my little space on what's my other place? Substack. Yeah, that's it. It's YouTube and Substack under Transparent Conversations, Elevated Exchanges. You'll find anything I write there. And these podcast episodes that I do. Welcome to this recording. If this is your first time here, thank you. And if you're returning, thank you. I have exactly 121 subscribers on YouTube and 60 subscribers on Substacks. So I appreciate that. I hope that you get something out of these. I try to bring some enlightenment, bring some, change the narrative, try to frame it in a different way than you see on regular mainstream TV. Things are happening so fast, and everything's not being shown on mainstream TV or mainstream news. As you see, it's just not all there. It's just not all there because we're losing. Media is consolidating, and anyway, we know from just what we're finding out now with Israel that we haven't been getting the whole story. We've been getting a very filtered, a very skewed type of news. It's just not, the story hasn't been all there. Just thinking about what we've been seeing over the last just like 6 months with what's happening over there with the Palestinians and what's happening over there with the Israelis and now the Lebanese. I'm convinced, like if you ask me, was it a genocide? Yes, there is an ongoing genocide in the Middle East. You asked me what the problem is. The problem is Zionism. The problem is racism. The problem is a superiority complex that I've never, ever seen. It is when you see the Israelis talk about their rights to the land and how they feel about the Palestinians, it is like something I've never seen before. I think the last time we seen it was in South Africa, when they were dealing with their apartheid issue. So now we have another apartheid issue, and it's something to see. And and the more and more we see it, the more and more I'm convinced that we just did not get the entire story. I personally feel bad about that. Like I feel like I was on the wrong side of history, but now I'm determined to get on the right side of history and stand up for what's right. But tonight, for this episode, if you've been here before, please like, share, subscribe to help me grow this channel, this community, if possible. I really appreciate it. If you think I could be doing something better, let me know. If you think I shouldn't be doing something at all, let me know. I really appreciate it. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes of tonight. Tonight, like I said last time I was here on last Wednesday, I really wanted to talk about AI data centers because it's really starting to bug me about how they're deploying data centers. It's basically, like I said, LLMs, they do have a purpose. I think they are useful But I think the way that they're being shoved down our throats is not the way to do it. I don't see why they want to just rush, but I see why they want to rush because they were trying to get they're trying to get the money. As you can see with SpaceX, they did an IPO, and for some reason, the company is worth $2 trillion. The company is worth more than Amazon, right? Amazon is in everyone's house just about around the world, right? It took them a long time to get up to there. What is in your house from SpaceX? Do you have anything? Do you own anything on SpaceX? Why is SpaceX worth more than Amazon? It is hype. We know that they could not get listed, or they couldn't do the IPO on S&P in New York because they don't show any profitability. They haven't shown any profitability. They lost money last year. The only money they made was from the whatever that thing in the Space Link. What's that thing called? I don't know. The satellite company with the satellites, and then you get your internet through the satellite. That's the only thing that made company that's like $11 billion, and they still lost $4 billion. So tell me why, if it's not rigged, why do they make? Why is he now worth over $1 trillion? He's the first trillionaire, but he hasn't made a profit, right? The whole plan is probably they're gonna roll. We're just going to roll Tesla up into SpaceX to get rid of that thing because it's going to start losing money. Nobody knows why nobody's buying Teslas. Nobody's buying Teslas. In this country, nobody's buying cars because we're all like, we're headed to a recession. So cars aren't selling. So the whole thing is like, the fix is in. The fix has always been in, but we've never really seen it up until now, the way it's been fixed. So before I get started, I wrote something. I'm gonna read it. What I wrote, when I write, I don't get it from AI, right? I do put it through Gemini to polish it up, check my facts, and I use it to, punctuation, grammar, all that good stuff. I also used a local LLM, Gemma, on my computer to fact check some figures for me. So that's all the AI that I use for this episode. I want to say that because there's a responsible way, I think, that going forward that we as consumers or just users could actually use it without could we? Yeah, because they're cheaper models. So basically they're open source models that you can use. You don't have to use like or what's that? OpenAI, XAI, Gemini. What's the other one? Claude. Anthropic, Claude. You don't have to use those. You can use local models, which I did use for some of this information. It's slower, but it still works, right? I wasn't in a hurry. I saw it start doing the work. I thought it was done until it came back like 5 minutes later with the exact information that I needed. So if there's ways to get around paying for it, and there's ways around actually using the data centers to the extent that they're trying to shove it down our throats, because it's not going to work. So I'm going to read this first. My problem with AI as it's currently being deployed. When I first heard about AI, I was highly skeptical. And for good reason. Spending my career in IT support and system administration taught me how to find answers methodically. We didn't use prompts. We plugged questions or error codes into Google and dug through the links. We knew the source. We knew who to contact for follow-up. The thought of accepting an answer blindly without knowing where it came from goes against everything I know. I'm not a Luddite. I love technology, and I even use AI occasionally to generate images, but despite its occasional usefulness, it's not consistent. And it certainly doesn't justify the data centers swallowing up every patch of open land. It's unsustainable. When tech companies spend $2.59 trillion on AI while massive human crises go unsolved, it's clear the industry needs to slow down. But billionaires only see the money, and the rest of us will suffer for their greed. The real problem with AI, and I believe this is a feature, not a bug, is centralization. Right now, the internet is decentralized. Anyone can launch a website. If your content shows up in a search, the user can verify it, question it, or reject it for bias. AI strips that away, presenting a finished document or a spreadsheet as absolute truth. Knowledge is being consolidated into the hands of a few gatekeepers, people who have proven time and time again they cannot be trusted. If you wanted to control the world, controlling the flow of information through AI and LLMs is exactly how you start. And that's my biggest issue with it. As they suck up all the information into AI and train these models, and people start using them more and more, they're not going to retain information, right? It's like right now, they're using it for coding. That's pretty much the use case for it. Most companies are trying to get rid of systems engineers or software engineers, so they're using it for coding. So if you're a junior coder, you spent time in college, you got your computer science degree, you know how to code, you're ready to go be an engineer, and then all they want you to do is babysit the AI while it does the code. And it's going to do the code in a way that you may not do the code or may not be able to understand it. So we could lose control of of how the code is being written or the programs. And that's happening right now. So I think that's a problem, especially things like music, art. We're relying on AI to develop those things. The kids are, especially with the music. It's going to be a problem because we're going to lose control of the art, and we're going to lose control of how we do things, how you write a paper, how you write an essay, how you do research without the use of AI. And then what's going to happen is we're going to have to pay the tech bros to learn things, to know things, and I don't think that's the good way to do it. There are use cases for AI, but as I've said right here, spending 2.59, that's the figure. I asked AI how much has been spent on developing AI up to this point, and it's $2.59 trillion. $2.59 trillion, and they have not solved cancer, right? What has been the big great thing that we've gotten they've gotten for spending $2.59 trillion? They aren't getting that money back. they hope to get that money back, but that's just for now. There's another figure, what they expect to spend, and that figure is just like, I didn't even write it down. It's crazy to think about how much money they still need to get to where they want to be. And I don't think they want to get there. So most of that money being spent is on the AI data centers, building out the data centers, and then on the GPUs, right? So people, the GPUs they're buying are not all they've bought are not only in use right now. They're still building data centers. So as they shove these data centers down our throat, and people aren't, what are they doing? Electric bills are going up. I talked about last week, somebody came home to Georgia, hadn't been there for a month. Electric bill is $600, and you hadn't been there. So it's been like that's a refrigerator running, maybe the AC on low, and that's a $600 bill. That's because of data centers, and that's only going to get worse and worse. So that's what, and that's the valuation. Let me show this. So that's the valuation. So right now, last year, or in 2025, Amazon made a total of $716.92 billion. That was Amazon's revenue, right? $716 billion. SpaceX's revenue was $18.7 billion, and that money they made, that's the revenue, but they actually had a loss of $4.9 billion. So that company is worth $1.7 trillion or $2 trillion at this point. It's a bubble. They changed the rules to allow that company to go to IPO. Like I said, it wasn't done on S&P. It was on the NASDAQ in Texas. And so it's not real. It's not real. I don't know The plan for Elon is to build data centers in space. I'm going to show you a video on that too. It's not easy, right? The tech hasn't even been invented, and then to do it, there's actually a couple of companies who are looking at doing data centers in space. Google is doing it, and you'll see also there's another company, and then SpaceX. All these companies, the tech hasn't been invented yet. They're working on it. They may get it to work, they may not. It's going to cost a lot. It's in space. I don't think Google's actually launched anything in space yet. So it's a race. We'll see. I don't think it's needed myself. I think that they need to slow down. Think about, because really when you lay out that amount of money, companies don't normally lay out that amount of money. That amount of money is normally laid out by governments, because government doesn't have to make a profit. Government does things for the good of mankind, their citizens. War is very expensive, so usually spent on war, defense. Aircraft carriers are expensive. We have how many? Like 11 full carrier strike groups. That's very expensive. And then we have other carriers, smaller carriers, amphibious carriers. So that's normally, when you get in those type of numbers, that's normally government. Now this is private, spending trillions of dollars hoping to get money back when there's no actual product, right? The LLM, that little chat prompt you have, that's not the product. They're not going to make the money back off that, because you're not going to spend more than $20 on asking a prompt, are you? Are you going to spend? I do have the prompt. I have it wrapped up in my Google plan. It's not much, it's like $20. Am I going to spend any more? No. If I got to cut back, I'm cutting that back, because I know how to use the LLM locally. It's not as fast, but it still works, right? So their money is not guaranteed, and it may not. Now, of course, they could have a breakthrough, and something could change. But right now, where they're headed, it's not the way to go. And I always say the only people that are excited about AI are people that are trying to sell you AI. And what we're getting from the tech bros, they just don't care about what happens to you. So I'm gonna play these videos right now, and we're gonna look at AI and how it's affecting. And this is also involved in politics too, but how it's affecting, people's lives. People weren't expecting to be living next to data centers. And now I realize that, because I've worked in tech, I've been in data centers, these aren't the same data centers, because I didn't realize the noise that they're talking about didn't exist in those data centers, right? They used to have, like I said, data centers used to be like Netflix, AWS, Google, our company. Other companies just have a place to run regular servers for web searches, for backups, for their the systems that we use in the company. They weren't used for this. These are running at a very, very high level. They're doing compute, meaning that normally we would hear that noise, like when we start servers up, the servers they use a lot of CPU when they start up, and you hear the fan, they're just blowing real loud. It makes that noise every time, and eventually it'll get quiet. But these data centers run at that level for 24 hours, 7 days a week. This is what people are hearing. So this is the first video is a two-parter. It's going to talk about people living, I think it's New Jersey, or maybe it's Massachusetts, how they all of a sudden found themselves living next to a very, very noisy data center. And the politics, where politics plays into this, is that Massachusetts is blue, right? These are Democratic governors, a Democratic state, blue state, and they're still getting screwed by corporations. All of a sudden, putting a very loud data center, and then they do things. They'll say they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and then they lie and just do something else. They move as if once it's done, then they worry about the regulation. Because why? Because they're paying a lot of money, right? They're rich. They can, they'll talk to you, or they'll take you to court. All right, first video. It's going to talk about the sound and people. All of a sudden, this could happen to any one of us. All of a sudden, living next to a data center that's running at a very high level, a lot of noise, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
My apologies to you guys. I should have actually informed you to wear something that would have covered your face a little bit more, like sunglasses or something.
Why?
Because they have facial recognition in these, and artificial intelligence facial recognition in these cameras, so they can see you. And they'll figure out who you are. I'm Jake Forts, and I'm the resident here in Iowa Street in Lowell, Massachusetts, and you're at my humble abode. So that is the largest part of the Markley Group data center here in Lowell. In Massachusetts, in theory, you can't have a surveillance camera looking at somebody's backyard. And what the hell is that doing in the middle of a residential neighborhood? Without saying too much, being in camera view. It's been
He's afraid.
Why do you have to say that?
These cameras are high-tech. They're $1,000 a pop. You have to be guarded on what you say around here just because there is so much surveillance and what you do. Come back and actually see like the fishbowl of which I live in. For me in this neighborhood, it started 11 years ago. Markley came and they started lying immediately. 10 years ago, they put the 2 diesel engines. So if you're looking over here, you can see 4 diesel engines. The furthest 2 were never supposed to be there. Actually, none of these 4 were supposed to be there. It didn't explode until they got the AI in there. So when Markley came, they told us that it was going to be one thing, that it wouldn't have a big impact on the community, and that it was going to be Netflix. And it has been anything but that. They've repeatedly changed the site to the point where this neighbor, Eileen, who has 2 water tanks in her backyard, they just popped up there during COVID. They started construction, didn't ask, but it's always do and ask for forgiveness later with this company. These 2 engines here were the first 2 to go in. These went in 2016, and that's when we said, what the hell are you doing? That's not where these were supposed to be. Everything that was mechanical was supposed to be on the other side of the facility. And by the way, don't worry about these folks because they sold out in December to them. Markley owns this, they own all of this. We're the last 2 privately owned houses on this street, and 9 Prince Ave is the last privately owned residence on Prince Ave. When he is done acquiring at cheap cutthroat rates, then this will cease to exist. He already has a plan, which he slipped in 2017, to build another building on the other side of the parking lot, where the parking lot is. So where are those people parking? He needs to come this way.
So that was a residential area, like residential neighborhood that I live in, you live in, anyone can live in. All of a sudden, they put a data center there, and they have diesel generators because they have to have a certain amount of power, and if they can't get the power from the grid, they'll just run the diesel generators, and that's going to pollute the air, right? So you see how they have the cameras there, AI, they facial recognition. They want to see who's there. So if you do any vandalism to the building, they'll be able to get you. And he's very nervous about what he says. They have cameras pointed into his yard. They're not supposed to build things here, but they do it anyway. They don't care. But then you can't go to your representatives because they can't do anything either because they have already signed the contracts, right? They've already changed the laws, the zoning laws. Here's the second part of that video.
The tech bros are out there spinning a narrative to try and make it that we're all a bunch of hooligans.
Yeah.
I'm not a hooligan. I live this. This is my life every day. These guys are gaining for themselves. They're in it for themselves. The rest of the people are losing. And that's union versus union. That's working man versus working man. Exactly. It's everything. It's all. It doesn't matter what political spectrum you're on. Massachusetts, it's Democrat run. And this is proof positive right here in my backyard that corruption can happen in no matter what party it is when it comes to tech bros and the money that goes with these data centers. Yeah. You're in the Democratic stronghold of the country. And this company is running amok. Governor Healy has meddled in my own personal appeal against this company. They've had 3 plan approvals before the DEP.
Governor Healy, for people that don't know, is a Democrat.
She is a Democrat, correct. However, Markley Group has also given to the Republican governor before her when he first came in, Charlie Baker. He received money from him as well. And also he tried to stop the millionaires tax from happening. So he gave, I think it was about $4 million to the super PAC that was trying to fight the millionaires tax in Massachusetts. So the other thing, the component that you don't get, but you're going to eventually figure out, is unions. So there is union versus union. These data center bros, or tech bros, or whatever they call them, these tech bros that exist out there are literally dividing the working people against each other. And so how are they doing that? They're using unions. IBEW is making a shit ton of money off of building these data centers across the country. So much so, they can't even find enough people to build them, so they're training people up, which is growing their membership ranks. So they're so happy.
For people that don't understand, when you're in a union, the idea is that the dues go to the union and that union protects you.
Yes. But the problem is that people don't understand. That's one union. What is data centers, or specifically artificial intelligence, doing to the job market? AI is literally going to destroy every entry-level job that is out there and other jobs.
I don't agree with that.
And all this because one union doesn't want to turn their backs on this to make it make sense for everybody.
Online, there's people saying that this rise against data centers is being pushed by foreign governments trying to slow down the United States in the AI race. What do you say to that?
Well, my opposition was before that came out.
Okay.
My problems with this data center existed long before that narrative came out, which I've only recently, very recently heard.
Yeah.
And that's because the tech bros are out there spinning a narrative to try and make it that we're all a bunch of hooligans.
Yeah.
I'm not a hooligan. I live this.
The narrative he's talking about actually started like with Kevin Leary. I played the video from him. He's a meme now to me. Was talking about how, you know, if you're talking against data centers, you're representing China, or China is paying people in the United States to protest and fight data centers so they can get ahead. As if people wouldn't be mad at that building, that big black massive building being in their backyard and making noise. So it's interesting though, just to think of it, the political part of it. He's in a blue state, he think everything's well, and they're just bulldozing through that happening. And it's I couldn't imagine living next to that. Those big buildings, and that's a big black building, and it's only gonna get worse. Like he said, it was a data center before for like Netflix, right? Netflix, our company, your company. If you wanted to locate your service there, you would do that, but it would just be for web searches. I think some of these data centers were also crypto mining, and those are very CPU intensive also. So that's when you get that high hum, because they're constantly running. Well, crypto, they was doing the crypto mining, so they're running calculations. The same thing with these, they're doing compute. So every time you decide you want a picture, an AI image, that's what's hitting it, and you're part of the problem. So we're going to go on to our next video, because I can't be up all night. This is the same thing, another data center. This one is in Pennsylvania.
When I felt that I might have to leave, I was kind of scared. I was worried about being homeless.
All my furniture and everything that's in my home I have to put into storage because I have nowhere to go. So now what do I do?
These mobile home tenants could be evicted to make way for a proposed data center. Archibald, Pennsylvania is home to just 7,000 people, but developers are trying to build 51 giant data center warehouses here, enough to swallow up nearly 14% of the entire town.
So what we're looking at here is where a data center project has been proposed. 14 data center buildings, each one of them 80 feet tall. It would mean leveling parts of that mountain and cutting down all of those trees.
In another area nearby, a different developer used a loophole to cut down 180 acres of forest before their data center has even been approved.
Now, since they're doing this and they're ripping down the trees, now I see the animals laying in the road dead because they're trying to find new homes.
It's not a coincidence that projects are flooding into Archibald. Pennsylvania offers tax breaks for data center development, and this borough happens to sit on top of a major interstate power line.
We are essentially being asked to give up all of the land, the energy, our water, so that developers can come in here and exploit us and then send their profits someplace else.
It's ridiculous because now we, the little people, are the ones that are going to suffer
Residents of Valley View Estates Mobile Park received eviction notices in 2025. With a lack of affordable housing options, many are at risk of becoming unhoused.
When I filled out for housing and different agencies to get help, they said it was going to at least be 5 years or longer.
They're trying to pull the wool over our heads. We're catching on quite quick, and we're not going to stand for it.
Public outcry from the community has started to gain real momentum. A Facebook group opposing the data centers now has more than 12,000 members, and council meetings are packed to the brim with vocal opposition.
10 of my neighbors, 10, have either died from or are living with cancer. And you are going to introduce another carcinogen in my area?
Pack your bags, get out of this place, and don't come back.
This spring, after public pressure, more than half of the borough council resigned, and one data center proposal was rejected.
What is happening in Archibald is a really great example. Local communities are rising up together and they're saying, hell no, and projects are being delayed or stopped.
There's a long road ahead, but the residents of Archibald are not backing down.
So you can see, like, they always pick vulnerable communities, communities that they can exploit. They don't care about the people in their lives. They're cutting down trees. They want to take down a mountain, just for these data center. And remember, this money is not guaranteed to come back. So a lot of this, if the AI bubble pops, they're just gonna leave, and they're just gonna leave it like that. They're gonna leave the trees down. They're gonna be gone because they're not gonna. Because once the money's gone, it's gone, right? The money is sunk cost. They're not gonna get it back. They don't care, and they're not gonna pay any. They're gonna pay any money to restore the land. And I know that it wasn't written in it, wasn't written in the contracts, and then these little city councils are not gonna be able to force them. So they could be doing irrevocable harm for absolutely no reason, because there's no guarantee that they're going to get, this is going to pay off in the end. And I don't think it's going to pay off in the end, but I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm a low IT guy. I don't track finances. I don't know finances, but this just seems shady to me. I wanted to compare this to, like I said, I'm 60. So when I was younger and coming up, there was no computers, right? We didn't have computers. Computers didn't show up until I was around like 17, 18. And then my father brought home a Commodore VIC-20, hooked up to the TV, the Commodore VIC-20, right? Played a few games on it. You can write in BASIC. I taught myself BASIC. I loved it. And then when I was in school, we had the Tandies, the Radio Shack computers. They set up a little network, and we had it was teaching everyone how to code in BASIC, right? Write programs in BASIC. You know, I enjoyed that class, and that's how I first caught the bug to being computers. But it still wasn't catching on. But during that time, no one was going through what was happening now. It wasn't disruptive, right? It was like I said, decentralized. It was empowering for most people. What we have now with these data centers, it's not empowering a lot of people, right? It's scaring a lot of people. It's taking resources from people. It's driving up electric bills. It's sucking up water. And it's not going to benefit a lot of people. It's going to benefit a very few people at the top. Like I said, hopefully it's going to crash, because it needs to crash. My bet is on China, because they don't have the access to the same chips. And I think that they're going to figure out a better way to do it. From the reports I keep hearing, they're close to actually having better models, because because they can't just throw money at it, right? And this is like private industry. They're just throwing money because they want a big pop. They want to be trillionaires on the backs of these ordinary people in Pennsylvania who don't have the power to fight them. Hopefully they do, because we have to fight them. They're going to take everything, and they just don't care. They have no care. I was watching a video today, and it was talking about Elon Musk being the first trillionaire, and he's not going to do anything with that much money. He could help a lot of people, right? Or access to that much money. He's not going to help anyone. He gave Trump $250 million just so he could be president, right? So that didn't help anyone. Look at where we are now. We're back at war. We're back at war. And this is weird. We're back at, I can't even say it's war. We're back at, it's just a weird thing. And I'm going to talk about that some more because I'm upset. I am seriously upset with what's happening with AIPAC and this government. Let's move on to the next video. The next one's going to talk about the actual what it's like to live next to a data center. And again, I played these video. I played a video like this before, but I think it needs to be really understood that if you have a data center, one of these hyperscaling data centers coming to your neighborhood, your life is going to change. It's not going to change for the better. It's going to be changed for the worse. You're not going to benefit. The money's going to go to Cannes and Milan and, you know, the Riviera and the Mediterranean on these billionaire yachts. You're not going to benefit. It's going to go straight up. I don't think most of us are going to benefit. We're going to be, it's to our detriment. I can't stop thinking about how when we first had computers, we had the mainframes, everything was centralized. We got personal computers, everything was decentralized. Anybody and everyone could write a program, host a web server, and now everything has to go through these LLMs. I don't see how that's better. I don't see how this is beneficial to all of us because what they're promising is not going to happen. I don't know what they're promising. AGI, we're not going to, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you think you're going to have a robot walking around your house for the next 5 years, it ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. There'll be no robots walking into your house, taking orders from you within the next 5 years. It's just not going to happen. It's not there. A lot of stuff they're showing you on TV is not real. And what they're talking about is in the future, right? I think even in the prospectus for the SpaceX IPO, it was talking about a lot of these technologies haven't been invented yet. But when we do, this is what we want to do. So let's hear the noise.
Imagine hearing this sound outside your home nonstop for the past 4 years.
That's the noise. You hear that for a few minutes, not constantly.
For residents along Louise Avenue in Dowagiac, Michigan, that idea is very much a reality, and homeowners fear the sound could be negatively impacting their health. 2 people living on the street have filed a lawsuit against the company operating the 30-megawatt data center. They allege the noise is created by cooling systems inside the data center, and the company hasn't implemented proper soundproofing equipment to prevent the noise from escaping. I visited the home of Marjorie and Billy Finn to see what they're experiencing firsthand, and they told me they're afraid it's only going to get worse after the company announced plans to expand the data center's capacity from 30 megawatts to 340 megawatts.
We don't go outside a lot anymore. We can't sit on our porch anymore. A lot of people don't want to come over and visit with us outside.
Hyperscale Data hasn't responded to any of my requests for comment via phone or email over the past 3 months. And when I tried to speak to someone at the property, I was repeatedly told I had to leave.
Yeah, I had a question. Oh, okay. Is there a good way to get in touch with the company? Okay.
The noise started in 2022 when Bitcoin mining operations started at the facility. Billy has been recording decibel measurements, and he's noticed the readings start to increase in the last couple years. Some days the readings are as high as 78 decibels. Most days they're around 60 decibels, and in the past they were around 52 decibels. I spoke with an audiologist from Bronson Healthcare, and she said anything below 80 decibels wouldn't cause any physical damage to your ear, but exposure to a constant unnatural sound like that coming from the data center could lead to increased stress and negative impacts on your overall health and well-being.
It can affect you living next to that. It's not natural to live next to that much noise. I didn't like it when I was just starting up servers. So I know that living next to that has to be a problem. It's just a problem. It's just amazing to me that that's allowed to happen. And that, I guess I've shown those before, and there's no recourse. You can't. They're not going to shut it down. You just have to live with it, and that's America today. You know, this is the home of the free and the brave, and the people, like I said, the people that are being affected by that. There's no CEO living next to that building. manager or representative living next to that building. Those are just regular people, and they're being screwed by the system just to make other people richer. And every time you see those slick little ads and people talking about how great this is going to be, this is the other side that they don't talk about, right? They don't talk about it at all, as if it's just going to be accepted that your life is ruined, and you have to live with this noise. So I have another video. I think I messed up. It's always got to be one or two of these. So wait 1 second.
Stop carelessly.
I'm sorry, what did he just say?
You know, if we're going to be the leader.
All right, I did mess up. So I did. I think I skipped one, and I wanted to verify which one it was. Okay, so yeah, I want to show you a CEO talking about. This is part of the SpaceX IPO. It's SpaceX. They rewrote the rules. So remember that SpaceX IPO. It has to be an index fund. So if your 401k will have to buy or invest in SpaceX now, and that's what they want. Remember, they've been trying to get our 401s for a while. They've been trying to privatize it. They've been trying to get the Social Security money. So now they're saying that all of us need to chip in and invest in data centers. That's what they want, all our money now. This makes no sense. Why would they want our money in order for them to get richer? I think this is it.
Stop carelessly.
I'm sorry, what did he just say?
You know, if we're going to be the leader in technology, which we are, if we are going to be the leader in AI, which we presently are, it's just going to require trillions of dollars of investments.
Okay, sure. Now let's see where this billionaire CEO says we're gonna get these trillions of dollars from.
If we could get more and more Americans to think about growing with the United States, we will have far than enough money to invest in this infrastructure.
Surely he is not suggesting what I think he is suggesting, right?
So much of this money, not just the private, is going to be coming from the private sector. From savings accounts, from pension accounts, from insurance companies, and on and on and on.
Right. We're gonna use Americans' retirement money to fund AI data centers. Naturally, yeah. Well, at least he's not saying that we're required to, right?
To me, it's not whether. This is a must.
A must. Got it. Maybe it's the fact that this is coming from one of the richest people in the world. And please excuse me, but I'm not fucking paying for AI data centers. The only people pushing for them all own private islands. No normal person wants these.
And that's just it, though. When I said before in the beginning, trillions of dollars. Remember how much I said was spent was like $2 trillion. That's the money that a government would spend on like getting to the moon or building a spacecraft to go around. You know what I mean? Or build a fleet of aircraft carriers. This is not something that normal business would take on. And now they're saying they know they don't have enough money, but what are they actually chasing? What are they chasing? They haven't cured cancer. They spent $2 trillion and there's been not one disease healed or eradicated. There's none. So they just want the money. They want the money, and you may not get it back, because I'm saying that this is a bubble, and the bubble could pop at any given day, any given time. And so that's just amazing. He's saying that, and without any remorse, he just doesn't have a problem saying, yeah, y'all need to invest in this. Give us your pensions, give us your savings plans, give us your 401k. We'll give it back. We'll give it back. But why, though? They don't state the reason why. They say it's a race. A race to what? AGI. AGI is not coming. They believe that they're going to reach the point that the AI is, just could solve a problem on its own. Like, there is some that happening. there's a lot of weird things happening, but I don't think that but it doesn't really benefit anyone what's happening. Like if they can come out tomorrow and tell me they found a cure for cancer and it's gone, it's eradicated, cure for AIDS is gone, it's eradicated, or something to help, grow more food for people that are starving, something like that may get us all on board. But right now, it could book meetings and read my email. I don't, the commercials now are crazy to me. Like, oh, I don't have to read my emails anymore. I just get up and get a summary. I don't know what the hell is wrong with y'all. Why can't you read your emails anymore? Like, what's going on? Why can't you? That's your job. Is that part of your job? Why do you want a computer to read your emails? It's just get an assistant. They're probably cheaper than what these data centers are going to do. So let's go ahead and look at the next video. It's going to be interesting. Yeah, it's going to be a good one. So this is going to be about the hidden cost. Like, we don't really know how much this is going to cost and what it's going to cost us. But here you go.
Artificial intelligence is powering everything from ChatGPT and Gemini to Instagram recommendations and online shopping.
Pause. I lied. This is about the water. This is about the water. It's crazy. Yeah, I got this video and the next video. We're going to talk about data centers in space too. But this is about the water.
Suggestions. Every day, billions of AI-powered tasks are performed across the world. But behind the convenience lies a growing environmental concern: water consumption. The AI revolution is being driven by massive data centers filled with powerful servers that process, store, and train these AI models. While much attention has been paid to the electricity consumption, experts say the industry's water footprint could become one of the biggest sustainability challenges of the decade. AI data centers require continuous cooling to keep thousands of servers from overheating. According to estimates from the researchers at the University of California and the University of Texas, global AI-related infrastructure could consume between 4.2 and 6.6 billion cubic meters of water annually by 2027. That's roughly equivalent to the annual water consumption of a country like Denmark. And that's a country of nearly 6 million people. To again put that in perspective, 1 cubic meter, and here we're talking about billion cubic meters by the way, but 1 cubic meter equals 1,000 liters. And so, if we were to do the math, AI systems could consume up to 6.6 trillion liters of water every day by 2027. Google's global data centers used 24.7 billion liters of water in 2023, a nearly 17% rise from the previous year. Microsoft's water consumption increased by 34% between 2021 and 2022, and that's because of AI expansion. As tech giants race to build AI infrastructure, water demand is increasing alongside computing demand. But why does this happen? Why do data centers use so much water? The answer lies in cooling. AI workloads are far more intensive than traditional internet searches or cloud computing tasks. Training, running large language models require thousands of specialized chips operating continuously. These chips generate enormous amounts of heat. To prevent equipment failure, many data centers use evaporative cooling systems where water absorbs heat and evaporates into the atmosphere. Researchers estimate that training a model comparable, let's say to a ChatGPT-3, may consume around 700,000 liters of clean fresh water. A conversation of roughly 20 to 50 AI prompts may indirectly consume about 500 milliliters of water, depending on where the servers are located and how they are cooled. So essentially, each one of us, when we're searching something on an AI model, we're contributing to the water consumption. Advanced AI chips can consume 5 to 10 times more power than conventional server processors, increasing cooling requirements. Water is also consumed indirectly through electricity generation. That's thermal power plants that supply electricity to data centers often require substantial quantities of water for cooling as well. The problem becomes more serious when AI facilities are built in regions that are already struggling with water shortage. According to the United Nations, around 2.2 billion people worldwide lack access to safely managed drinking water. Nearly 4 billion people experience severe water scarcity for at least 1 month every year. India, particularly vulnerable. Government estimates suggest that nearly 600 million Indians face high to extreme water stress. We all face it. Demand for data centers, in the meanwhile, is expected to more than double over the next decade. Ironically, many technology companies prefer dry and hot regions because land is cheaper, solar energy is abundant. But these are obviously the places where water is already scarce. So the environmental cost of AI goes beyond what users see on their screens. The International Energy Agency estimates that data centers worldwide consumed around 460 terawatt hours of electricity in 2022, roughly equal to the entire electricity demand of a mid-sized country. With AI adoption accelerating, that figure, there's no doubt, will only double by the end of the decade. Experts increasingly are describing AI's environmental impact as a hidden cost because nobody really sees what's required for these digital services. And as AI becomes integrated into healthcare, into education, into governance, into business, balancing the two, innovation with sustainability, will become crucial. But all said and done, let's be clear. Even I wouldn't have been able to explain this issue without the help of artificial intelligence.
So that was interesting. You said she wouldn't be able to do without the help of artificial intelligence, which is what we're saying. Like that's not true. She could have. So that's where we're going from a distributed system, decentralized to a centralized, and it's all going to be controlled by data centers to save a little time. I guess save a little time. Like I said, it has a place. There's a way to do it, but this isn't the way to do it. It's not going to be. It's not sustainable. I keep saying it over and over again, but it's just not sustainable. I don't see it. So let's talk about what happens if there's a bust. I have a video from Katie Couric. I'm gonna play. Like what could happen? I think I have it. Yeah. What could happen if there's a drop? There was a .com .com bubble. The .com bubble popped. We made it out of that. But this is different because of the CapEx, the capital expenditure. Building the data centers, right? So if it pops, crashes, because the demand actually isn't there. They're hoping the demand is there. There's no killer app yet, right? There's nothing to justify how much it costs. The companies are finding out that, laying out the money is not going to work. And they're saying that a lot of these layoffs are not data AI related. They're just overhiring from the the pandemic. Also, our economy sucks. So a lot of hiring, a lot of people being laid off in tech because of that. Some of it is AI, but a lot of it's just some corrections. But if AI were to pop, if the bubble pops, what's going to happen?
So I think the AI bubble is a bubble and it will pop, but I think of it more like the .com bubble, which is to say, the internet came of age in the late 90s and there was a pop, but the internet is still here and is more powerful and a bigger force than ever. So I think something like that will probably happen with AI, meaning there's definitely overinvestment and probably investment in the wrong areas. And so there will be some kind of comeuppance. I don't think that means that AI is not a thing. I think AI is probably, a generational shift for everybody.
But there will be a correction.
There will be a correction. The question that we don't know this time around is if you believe that every financial crisis is a function of too much leverage in the system, too much borrowing money, right? In 1929, it was too many people borrowing for stocks. In 2008, it was too many people borrowing for subprime loans and the like. It could be that there's too much borrowing going on around these AI data centers. People don't appreciate, yes, Google and Facebook, they're all spending hundreds of billions of dollars, but to build these data centers, there's energy companies that are taking on an extraordinary amount of debt, construction companies, real estate companies. I mean, and that debt we can't see anymore. That's actually another big thing. It used to be that you'd get a loan from a bank, and so the system could see the debt in the system, the leverage in the system. Today, it's all moved into what they call the shadows, into this private credit business. And so we don't really know what's going on. And that's a little scary. And I'll give you one more little, not to scare everybody, but you're starting to see what they call round trip deals, these like circular deals where, so NVIDIA and OpenAI did this very unusual deal a couple weeks ago where OpenAI is buying chips like crazy from NVIDIA. But OpenAI can't afford to buy all the chips that it's committing to buy. It doesn't make money. It's losing money right now. So what's happened? NVIDIA invests money into OpenAI. So they have now committed to give them $100 billion, which then they're going to take the $100 billion and buy the NVIDIA chips. So it's a completely circular transaction. It's like magic. And then just, I think 2 weeks ago now, a similar deal. OpenAI is going to buy chips from AMD. Can't afford to buy the chips in AMD. Says to itself, well, if we announce that we're going to buy chips from AMD, AMD's stock is likely to go up. So we're going to get a stake in AMD. And when the shares magically go up, we'll now have money from those, and then we'll go buy the chips.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it just reflects that there's not a sort of underlying stability in that market. You know, when you get into what's called vendor financing, when the vendor basically has to finance you, it can come back to bite you. Now, yes, if OpenAI turns out to be a massive success and super profitable, maybe no harm, no foul. But if it doesn't, the whole sort of ecosystem can break.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it may not be a payoff, right? There might not be a payoff at the end of all this money that is being, thrown out the window and invested into these data centers. So that's the difference between .com, because .com was like mom and pop. Like when I was working for a company that was building a website and they selling something on the internet, they thought would sell. It was like we had the server was right there in the office, right? It wasn't, we had a server room. The server was right there in the office. It was actually not. It was right there in the office, a couple cubicles over, that we were using to host that website. So this is different because there's a massive amount of capital expenditure. All the money that is being spent right now is being spent on compute. They're building data centers. They need electrical plants. They need diesel generators. They need gas turbine generators. That's where the money's going to for something that may not pay off. And then I don't know what they're going to do next, but I do want to show one video because I thought it was interesting. I watch engineering videos, but I played one of the engineering of a data center a while back, showing that the physics don't work out. Like what they're trying to do is actually very hard, and it may not work. Putting a data center in the middle of a desert, it's gonna increase the heat. Raise the heat. Like we were talking about the greenhouse gases in the earth, climate change. They don't even care about that anymore because we're in the middle of a administration, a regime that doesn't care about science, and we're being bit every day by it. So let's look at this one. This is a good video to look at. Like, what's it going to take? Is it possible to put data centers in space? Is it possible? You check it out.
Data centers in space. That's the most recent technology to excite Silicon Valley. Jeff Bezos believes that we'll have data centers in orbit in 10 years or so. Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google, recently confirmed he bought a rocket company to help launch computing infrastructure into orbit. And Elon Musk thinks that within 4 to 5 years, the least expensive way to do AI computing is with solar-powered satellites in orbit. Let's have a look.
I think even perhaps in the 4 or 5 year time frame, the lowest cost way to do AI compute will be with solar-powered AI satellites. So I'd say not more than 5 years from now.
Wow. Putting data centers into orbit sounds like a good idea. For one thing, there's lots of sunlight up there, so you get power for free. You just need to put the satellites in what's called a sun-synchronous orbit that stays in the sun almost the entire year. This is, I think, why Elon Musk is so enthusiastic about it. Another advantage is that you don't have to find land to build on. No one's around to complain about the noise. And if you're up there already, you can beam down data across the globe. Best of all, space is cold, very cold, so you don't have to worry about cooling. But there are downsides too. Most obviously, you have to get the material up into space, and that's neither cheap nor easy. If something goes wrong, you can't go and fix it, and the cooling isn't as simple as it sounds. This is because on Earth, the easiest way to cool a processor is to blow air across it to transport off the heat. You can't do this in outer space. More generally, there are 3 types of cooling: conduction, convection, and radiation. Conduction means heat moves through solid materials, for example, from a chip to a metal plate. Convection means the heat is carried by moving fluids or gases, and radiative cooling means the heat is emitted as infrared light. In space, convection doesn't work because there's no air. And the problem with radiative cooling is that it needs a large surface area to work efficiently. So the plans for space-based data centers are either to use convection to transport the heat through metal to a big panel, the radiator, that gives the heat off into space, or to circulate some sort of fluid, ammonia or some sort of refrigerant, to transport the heat and then again radiate it off into space. That's doable, but basically that space is cold isn't as much of an advantage as you may think. The second issue is cosmic radiation and solar wind. Both will rain highly energetic particles down on the data centers. This can both permanently damage microchips and it can lead to errors during data processing. To deal with that, for one thing, you want the satellites to be in low Earth orbit, like Elon Musk's Starlink satellites, because there isn't quite as much radiation there. But also, the computers need shielding, and some use radiation-hardened chips. These have a thicker insulation and larger transistors that makes them more sturdy, but also slower, like me, but without the German accent. Then there is the question of what space computing even makes sense for. If you have data collected by satellites that you want to process up there before sending it down to Earth, that makes a lot of sense because the satellite Earth link has a low bandwidth compared to what we can do on the ground. Information processing in a data center on Earth can now be done at a speed of more than a terabit per second. The best satellite to Earth links are currently in the range of 1 gigabit per second. That's a factor 1,000 slower. So yeah, processing data up there makes a lot of sense. For the same reason, however, it doesn't make sense to do anything up there which requires a lot of data from the ground. Like if you were thinking of doing AI training up there, that won't work unless we see a massive upgrade in the satellite to Earth bandwidth. That said, there are a bunch of startups and governmental projects working on space-based computing already. In the US, a startup called StarCloud recently launched a satellite with an NVIDIA H100 chip on board. That's one of the fastest AI chips currently available. The StarCloud CEO, Philip Johnston, said in 10 years, nearly all new data centers will be built in outer space. The company Axiom Space is working on orbital data nodes focused on government use, likely including secure data handling and defense applications. But the most ambitious project so far comes from Google, which just announced Project Suncatcher, which aims to build a space-based AI cluster. They plan to link dozens of satellites with ultra-high-speed laser links, potentially reaching 10 terabits per second. They want to launch 2 prototype satellites by early 2027. And by 2030, when you wonder, where did I put this file? Maybe the answer is somewhere above Madagascar. Science is beautiful, let me show you. This is a star map of the night sky of last year's solar eclipse.
So yeah, watch her videos. She's a very good scientist. She has very good videos, and I love that German accent. So I recommend, if you really want to keep up with the science that's coming out, especially with these data centers, she does a lot of videos on that, and she's very good. As you can see, like, it's hard to do data centers in space. We'll see. We'll see. That's basically the SpaceX bet. That they're going to make all this money in space. Data centers are going to be in space. Good luck. Good luck with that. Everybody that invested in SpaceX, help you make some money, and we'll see. But I don't. Like I said, I'm not hyped. Like, I remember computers, and everybody was really jazzed about it. This is too much trepidation. They're going down the wrong path, as far as I'm concerned. If they were to slow it down, try to, and not put so much hype, make it like a race. Like, if we don't do it first, then somebody's gonna have an advantage over us, like something like that. It doesn't, and that's just gonna, and that urgency is just gonna cause people to make mistakes, just race and break things, break a lot of laws, affect a lot of people's houses and homes and lives, and destroy a lot of lives. See, people gonna work, and the people in Pennsylvania are worried about where they're gonna live because the data centers are taking their homes. So, and it's always the most vulnerable communities that they're doing this in, because they have to run those diesel generators, and the people can't fight, and you cannot trust your government. And we already know we can't trust the government because I can't trust the Maryland government anymore. That's because there's so much going there. I haven't talked about AIPAC, Israel, the war. It's still going on every day. It's just happening. We have an insane man running the country. We have a crazy regime running the country. I just want to stick to data centers today, but I ran across a video that I have to play because it's about racism in America, and it's just like, this is what I say about, like, I can't trust white people until I know you. Until I actually know you, then I can know you. I don't know you, so I can't trust you, because as a general rule, I don't trust you. Because I can't, based on what we've seen. Like, because y'all have different definitions of what racism is. Like, you don't understand racism, and then you try to say you be playing a race card as if we've never actually dealt with racism, that we don't actually see it every day. But this was an interesting video. I wanted to play it about this pastor who, he says he's not racist because he has an interracial friend.
Everybody got mad at me. Thousands of people, Christians, calling me a racist, saying that I hate people. I haven't even taken the time to watch the show to see that one of my co-hosts is interracial. These are deceitful, mean-spirited people.
I'm sorry to hear that, Joel. How dare they take your words out of context? Let me do some research for you and prove them wrong.
If you go into a crowd of strangers and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger.
Okay, Joel, that was pretty racist. Let's try the next clip.
About 90 to 95% of the black church in America is objectively, by the standards of Scripture, heretical. It doesn't even constitute a true church.
Okay, that's also pretty racist. What should I say to my friends who attend the black church?
If you listen to the message and you believe what they're saying, you will go to hell.
Wow, okay, this is pretty extreme. You're not making a great case for yourself. What would your solution be to this issue you just brought up?
There are not enough black men in America, Christian men, who know enough theology to be able to be qualified to pastor black churches. The black church in America needs to be split up. It needs to go and find a good, God-fearing white church with biblically qualified men so that they can hear the real gospel of Jesus Christ and come to saving faith in Him.
Okay, that was also like super racist. Do you have any last words to defend yourself at all?
Do you like one over the other? And one was a young white dude and one was a young black dude. And I said, I prefer the young white dude. And this is why. The reason why is not because I'm white, but because we currently live in a historical moment in the West, and particularly in these United States, where I know that both of these guys could be perfectly qualified. But I also know that if there's a chance that one of them was not qualified and was given a free pass, it'd be the black guy. I know that young white guy, there's no way he got a free pass.
Okay, Joel, so I've looked into it and I have concluded that you are racist by definition. If I'm not mistaken, I think you said the black church wasn't really a church, that black pastors need to be taught by white pastors how to be real pastors. You openly question the competence of Black professionals because of race-based assumptions. And I don't think that's being taken out of context. I'm pretty sure that is the context. And by the way, saying things like this,
I love Black people. One of my co-hosts is interracial.
That's giving, I have a Black friend, I'm not racist energy. And that's not a defense. It never has been. You don't get absolved from racism by proximity. You don't get exempt because you say things calmly. And you certainly don't get to redefine racism because you don't like the label. So no, people aren't being mean to you. They're responding quite accurately. I hope that helps clear up the confusion.
So I saw that today, and I wasn't going to do anything on racism or ICE or anything like that because I just wanted to talk about data centers, but I'm like, that reminded me of being when I was in church in Manassas when I was married. We used to like this white church used to come visit our church, right? And then we would go visit their church, and they would not mix. You know what I'm saying? It was like some kind of exchange, but it was for the pastors. It wasn't for us. And just to see how that man thinks, how he doesn't think he's racist, it's very strange to me. Like, he doesn't believe that. I don't even like the Book of Myths. I don't even deal with it anymore. But just to think that he thinks that Black people can't read the Book of Myths, believe in it because it's different. They would really, I don't know what, that's what I'm saying. I can't trust you until I know you. And then I have to know you, then I really have to know you to actually trust you because y'all say stuff like that. So guess what? Tomorrow's Monday. The primary for Maryland is tomorrow. Oh, I'm sorry, Tuesday. So hopefully, if you voted early, you've mailed your ballot in, you're good to go. But if you're still wondering what to do, I'm gonna say do not. I'm gonna say this: don't vote for AIPAC candidates. If it's up to you, I'm not gonna do it. I refuse to be on the wrong side of history. I refuse to. If you think that Israel is playing with us, you're mistaken. They aren't playing with us. They believe they run this country, and I'm gonna show you why. I mean, like, why they think they run this country, and because they have paid to run this country. They have paid money into our campaigns to a limit. This is track AIPAC, and as you can see, this is Maryland, right? So this is the majority of our representatives. This is Angela Alsop-Brooke. She is one of our senators. She's red. She's gotten money from AIPAC, like $200,000. The rest of the people I don't know, they're not my district. Glenn Ivey, $7 million. And you see, like, there's a campaign. Adrian Boafo, he's in here somewhere. But he's running, and he has gotten over. He's up to $5 million right now. Just from AIPAC, pro-Israel lobby, and also from crypto. And then, like I said before, Angela Alsop-Brooke endorsed Adrian Boafo, and Governor Westbrook endorsed Adrian Boafo and Glenn Ivey. So these most of our, it's so sad because most of our let me see if I can go back that way. Most of our Congress they've get money from AIPAC. Like, if you will go through the whole site, and these are Democrat, Republicans, don't really matter. All Republicans, pretty much. But Tom Cotton, who's like one of the worst people ever. So how much is that? $1 million. So when you see people who have a problem with supporting Palestine or saying pro-Palestinian things, who wants to call, like, if you see somebody like this, he is no money. So there are a very few that haven't taken money from AIPAC. My senator, Chris Van Hollen, no money. He is making commercials against the foreign influence of money into our elections. Ro Khanna is taking the pledge. Not taking my, this woman from whatever state, Nancy Pelosi, forget about it. So basically, it's up to you. Track AIPAC. If you want to vote for combining our military or integrating our military with with a foreign government. If you want to integrate our, was it 244 in the defense reauthorization bill? If you want to integrate Israel Army military with our military, then you vote for the candidates that are paid for by AIPAC, and then, I guess you'll be complicit in the genocide. You are if you're keep voting for these people. And then also you're going to be voting for data centers because they've taken money. And you're going to be voting for destruction of our people are losing health care. It's plain and simple to me that the old days of Democrat Republican are gone. We have these AIPAC Democrats. It would pretty much look like Republicans at this point. And then you have MAGA. And that's what you have. And then the whole thing is being influenced and paid for by AIPAC. We have a lot of, I should have showed that. We have a lot of candidates who are running. In fact, I will show that. We have a lot of candidates who are actually running now, who are like, are not taking AIPAC money, who are endorsed by AIPAC. The candidates, people running like Mandami, people like Zakia, I forgot her name now, endorsements. These people who are that may be running your election. So take a look at these candidates. And if you want to get someone who hasn't taken money from AIPAC, who wants to represent this country, America first, and not Israel first, you want to look at these countries. I like Brendan Taylor. I think he's run a good campaign. And I think we have Harry Dunn, Jakia Johnson in Maryland, good candidate. We have all these other candidates from Maryland who are running. There's Graham Plattner. A lot of candidates who are running who are not taking money from AIPAC, who are not going to be beholden to AIPAC. Cori Bush, she lost her seat to an AIPAC candidate. I forget his name. And he was endorsed by, I don't even want to talk about it. I can't remember her name now. You know what I'm talking about. Firebrand. But anyway, so there are candidates on here who haven't taken money from AIPAC, and they haven't taken money from AIPAC. That means they raised their money from grassroots. They've gotten the money from the people and not PACs. And PACs are what's ruining our politics, and they're influencing our elections. And then you wonder why an AI data center can actually just show up in a neighborhood, and then no one seems to understand that, oh, we need the water. Oh, we don't want to have this noise going on 24 hours a day. And it's not benefiting the people whose lives have been upended by building this gigantic building that's very noisy and is running on diesel generators, and everybody's getting cancer. So it's up to you. I'm going to choose not to be on the wrong side of history this time. I'm done with that. So with that, I'm going to dedicate this next video. We're on to some hope right now. I'm going to dedicate this next video to Governor Wes Moore. I'm going to dedicate to Glenn Ivey and Adrian Boafo and Angela Alsobrook. This is for you. I don't hope you win. I hope you lose. I'm not voting for you no more. I'm done. I'm not voting for AIPAC candidates. You cannot tell me that you think America is first when you're voting for candidates who've taken money, blood money, genocidal, savage money from a country that's hell bent on. They've already said that after they take care of Lebanon, they're going after Egypt, and they've already made threats toward Turkey. They are the problem in this world. So this is for you.
We getting AIPAC money. We getting AIPAC money. I got so much silver, so much gold, so many politicians under my toes. I got my side making moves from the inside. Know what's flood, crude oil, mud, Bolocks, callous filled with children's blood. Bought the jury, bought the judge, got the whole White House filled with bugs. Paid off Congress behind closed doors, blackmailed senators with my whores. USA fighting my wars. Underage boys, we use them like toys. Young girls get pearls from gold.
If you want the money, you will do what we tell you.
And if you say no, we will simply just graves, we dig them. Elections, we rig them. Claim all our ops, so for anti-Semitism.
Christ is king.
That's illegal under our regime. Now kiss the wall, let me hear the goy sing.
We getting APAC money. 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 We getting APAC money.
Hold up. Hold up. Hey yo, let me just say a little thing about this. I wanna see your foreskin, I wanna be at your bricks. I wanna be a vampire, let me suck on your dick. I wanna see your European countries turning this. Wanna circumvent your politics, I want control. Wanna make you my slave, that's my ultimate goal.
So that's your, I dedicated that to the people who are running for APAC. So you know what? Insanity is doing the exact same thing, expecting different results. And it is insane. We know now, we see it now. You are responsible for your decisions after this election, right? This election, the children in the Middle East are not cannon fodder, man. Come on. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right, so I got some hope, right? So guess what? I decided to play another video by my resident spoken word poet, the one that I seem to have connected with. The words, the rhythm, the vibe really is speaking to me right now. So you already know if you know. Here comes the spoken word by Kira J.
Do you believe in God, my love? I had to pause and take a breather, because this story I'm about to tell you is going to make you a believer. Years ago, I was a broken mess. My life was in disarray. One night I cried to God in silence because there was nothing I could say, but he heard me anyway. He said it was time for me to release. He said, it's something you need more than love, so I stopped and prayed for peace. He gave me peace. It was something that I never had because my emotions were always at war. But the peace I found through God was something worth me fighting for. Yet even with peace, I was in pieces, because I had been through so much hurt that I found it hard to love myself and visualize my worth. I didn't know how to put me first. My whole aura was revealing, so I asked God, what do I need right now? He said, baby, you need healing. And he took me on this journey that only he could take me through. To heal my mind, body, and soul and fix the heart I broke in two once that was through. I asked, was it time yet? He could sense my internal frustration, but he said, no, it's not your time right now. You need this isolation. Because I was fresh into peace and straight out of healing, my strength was still defining. I had this schedule on when I would fall in love, but I had to trust God's timing, because the decisions he had made for me always played out better than my own. So as bad as I wanted to find you, God said I had to be alone. He said, while you're alone, you build that throne, because my child, I made you able. So one day when I finally say it's time, you got a lot to bring to that table, I said, God, okay, I fold. I let you take over because you know best. What do I need in my life right now? He said, you need success, because I've took you through the mud. And it wasn't to keep you humble. It was because the plans I made for you, I needed to know that you won't fumble. So he gave me that bag, the skill, the talent, and he let me settle in. Because of all my previous losses, he declared it was time to win. God gave me peace, healing, strength, and success. And just when I thought he was through, I thank God for giving me all that I need, and he stopped and gave me you. He gave me you when I thought I was fresh out of blessings and he couldn't give me more. But the love he set aside for me was worth me waiting for. Do you believe in God, my love? Because his plan is so divine. He knew I needed you, but it had to be at the right time, because so many people jump into love while their lives are still unsteady and ruin the best thing that ever happened to them because they were unready. But God made sure I was ready for a love that could shake me to my soul, because the only way we last in love is if I came in whole. And I say this with whole confidence that God sent you without a doubt. And he wasn't going to let me mess this up because of the stuff I had to figure out. I believe God fixed me just for you. I know that's dangerous to say, but he wanted me to experience the joy and being loved on the right way. And right away I fell into you. Our souls are so in tune. soon that I know I'm loving you straight from my heart instead of from my wounds. A healthy love, a love that opens you up to a person you've never been, a love that challenges everything you thought you knew when it comes to loving men, a love that makes you believe in love again. After experiencing so much hate, God wanted me to have a type of love that makes you believe in fate. This shit was fate. I have no doubt in that. I can tell by the way you love me. And every day I wake up next to you, I thank the man above me. The type of love we have is so holy that it took years of self-work to achieve. But anything is possible with God, my love, just as long as you believe. So do you believe?
So everything I'm going through, that speaks to me right now. I am going through a lot, but you know, I'm going through it. I'm going through what I need to go through for this time, and I appreciate that poem from Kara J. All right, I'm out. I'm trying to get these under an hour. I can't do it. I'm gonna do it because obviously I'm talking too long. But anyway, which I want to hear. Y'all want to hear some go-go? This is a local band. I'm not sure of the name of this band, but just like they're playing so much go-go around here, I think they're coming up with new bands left and right. They got a nice little crank, so which I want to hear, and then I'm out. Some go-go. It's in your blood. It's in our blood in this round here. It is in our blood. All right, y'all. I will be back on, I don't know. I'll be back on probably on Tuesday. No, I'll be there on Wednesday after the election, and then we'll talk about the election and how mad I am. All right, peace. I'm out. Be good. I will see you on Wednesday.